Africa, we stand to be the biggest beneficiaries in the sense that in Africa, first and foremost, we have a very big youth presence. That is the youth who drive, actually, who will be driving the African economy in the next frontier. I mean, it's an advantage that we have. We have strong, educated youth in Africa who will fit very prominently in the maritime domain or in an advancement. The other issue that we have with Africa is actually we have competitive wages, because of our standards of living, and we are resourceful. We got so much, so an employer would find it more convenient to employ African seafarers. They are hardworking. Now, the other advantage that we have, Africa, is we have a very vast coastline, right? And this coastline, of course, is lined with the ports. Ports are the points of transit of goods. And Africa is a growing economy. Of course, there are so many ships that will be calling to the African ports, bringing in materials, of course, imports, fertilizers, etc., okay, and also exporting. So this means that there will be so many fleets of ships calling at the African ports, and coupled with their presence and, of course, the presence of the African youth who are ready to venture into maritime careers, we have a very big advantage, and we may be able even to produce more than half of the world's maritime workers, that is seafarers, and of course ports and other related fields in the maritime domain.
As within the maritime industry, Ghana, as an example, with respect to examination, with respect to seafarers training, the biggest challenge is the unavailability of sea time or shipboard training. We are not asking for favors. We are only asking that you give our seafarers opportunity. We are asking that our cadets should be given opportunity so they can develop themselves within the industry. So as far as education and training within the maritime industry is concerned, seafarers training, what we are currently looking for is opportunity for shipboard training. When I came here, there are a number of things that we thought was a challenge to us. But having interacted with our colleagues or our brothers from Ethiopia, we think that those things we can find solution to them. So for us, our coming here has been very, very beneficial to us, especially interacting with our brothers from Ethiopia. They've took us through a number of things that we think that it will help in developing our maritime education and training sector in Ghana.
We have a continent full of youthful people. We have a lot of youthful age in Africa who are hardworking, who are intelligent, and who can be of great potential in the maritime industry. The problem is, I will narrow this down to my country, is that, for example, in Gambia, people don't know much about the maritime industry. People don't venture into more about the maritime studies. So this is a big challenge, even in building the labor force for local and international. So on that basis, what we're trying to do is come up with Gambia, a seafarers development program for Gambia. And in this, we are trying to encourage people to go into the maritime studies, and also government is initiating to give them opportunities to study. But the challenges will be, how do we place them on board? First, how do we get, because most of the African countries don't have shipping shipping companies. They don't have their own vessels. So training can be easy, but getting them to pursue their professional career can be very challenging. And this is one question that keeps repeating. How do we bridge this gap? How do we bridge this gap? So in our opinion, and in the way we are trying to, it will be better if African countries can come together, have a unified policy of how to build the labor market, and also collaborate in helping each other to get the employment for their individual citizens.
As we know that training and education in maritime is very expensive, and most of African training institutions are funded by government, and the governments are responsible for the well-being of all citizens in their nations. So the priorities differ. So if we wait for the government to do everything in supporting maritime education, it will take very long to produce these quality seafarers. As we have seen in the presentation during this Africa Maritime Conference, that the demand for seafarers globally is ever growing. So African countries, this is an opportunity because we know the population of Africa is big and most of them are youth and children. So this is an opportunity to transform our people by empowering them with the necessary skills that will enable them to compete in the international labor market. So as the theme of this conference that says that to enable Africa become a hub of seafarers frontier in the next 10 years, in the next decade. So this is a wake-up call for every African country, especially for the training institution, to see this as a big opportunity to maximize efforts, and particularly on my side as a training fund, to mobilize whatever resources are available to manage, to be able to empower these young Africans acquire the necessary skills.
Africa, the crewing. It means the crew, operator. It means ship has to operate. Without crew, ship cannot be operated. There are ships which is autonomous, that's different. That is a small portion, negligible. But the major shipping industry has to operate by the competent and qualified intelligent crew members, which are available in Africa. Because you see your young population, largest population in Africa. Africa, 70% of the youth up to 30 years is in Africa. We need them because we have become old. I am 59 years. So we need to exit and new generation has to come, which has very large potential in Africa. We'll have to increase the number with the quality. Not only the number is not enough, quality is enough. Today, the Ethiopian seafarers are worldwide. All the reputed companies are taking them because of the quality. Quality is related to the sustainability. Because we can provide, but it will not sustain for long time unless the quality exists and maintain, which we are doing that. Everybody, not only the academy, authority who is examining them, high international standard. Because authority, the examiners also studied in one with us actually, with the same college with us in India, which is one of the best in the world and eastern part of the world, that is the best college, Maritime Training Institute. So that quality will maintain, so that sustainability as well as the growth will be always consistent, which is needed. Yeah, and our seafarers are doing excellent job.
We have the Africa Integrated Maritime Strategy. We have like the ECOWAS Integrated Maritime Strategy. But these are documents that are lying down and they are not being implemented. So implementation is now what we need. You understand? And then I think most of the countries, their governments are not aware of the potentials of the maritime. So the strategies are there. Africa Maritime Integrated Strategy is up to 2050. So we need now implementation. Most of the policies are there, we need to implement them. And we should learn a lot of lessons from our European counterparts. Their maritime and safety agency is doing very well. They cover the whole of Europe, and then they also set standards. If we want to achieve the African dream of being the labor force, we have to have standards, we have to have procedures of all these things, so that when Africans go, it will not be like Ethiopians are best, Gambians are bad. So there is the need for collaboration in implementation of the strategies. But we have the strategies in place.
We pray that Africa pursues this dream of being a maritime continent, so that we can reap big from the oceans and from the blue economy agenda. I would encourage my African brothers and sisters to think more about the economy, how we can trade together. Let's forge unions. Let's forge unity amongst ourselves before we could even ask for help from elsewhere. We should be able, we could be self-sufficient in everything. Believe you me, we have the resources, and we have the people who are the major resource, the human capacity. We can drive this world.